Marcus stood rigid at his assigned post outside the Grand Diplomatic Quarters, his standard-issue laser rifle held at precise regulation position. 3 long months had passed since humanity first made historic contact with the mysterious Valerian Empire, and he still couldn't quite believe he was part of the elite security detail for the most important interstellar negotiations in human history. The weight of responsibility pressed on his shoulders daily. The massive Valerian vessels had arrived in spectacular fashion, appearing in ships that completely dwarfed Earth's largest military vessels, their advanced technology clearly centuries ahead of anything humanity possessed through decades of scientific advancement. Yet instead of the expected conquest that many had feared, they offered genuine alliance and mutual cooperation. Their enigmatic queen, Lyra, had personally traveled across vast distances to establish formal diplomatic relations between their civilizations. Marcus had seen her only once during the elaborate initial ceremonies and formal presentations. Even from his distant position across the vast ceremonial hall filled with delegates from dozens of nations, her commanding presence demanded immediate attention from every person present. Standing nearly 8 impressive feet tall, her striking azure skin seemed to shimmer continuously with an inner light that defied scientific explanation. 4 graceful arms moved with practiced elegance and royal bearing, while her magnificent crystalline crown reflected the chamber's bright lights like captured starfire from distant galaxies. But it was her mesmerizing eyes that haunted his thoughts. Deep, violet orbs that held ancient wisdom far beyond Earth's greatest minds and most learned scholars. Today felt different. The usual bustle of diplomatic activity had quieted to whispers. Ambassador Klein emerged from the conference room, his face grave. "Guard Marcus," Klein called out, approaching with unusual urgency and barely concealed anxiety. "The Queen has specifically requested your immediate presence in the conference chambers." Marcus felt his heart skip several beats. "Sir, I believe there's been some kind of mistake. I'm just basic security personnel, nothing more." "No mistake whatsoever," Klein replied, confusion evident in his worried voice. "She specifically asked for the brown-haired human guard who stands dutifully at the eastern entrance. That description matches you exactly." The conference room felt enormous as Marcus entered. Queen Lyra sat alone at the far end, her advisors having withdrawn. Up close, her beauty was even more striking, but it was her expression that caught him off guard. Vulnerability, mixed with determination. "Please sit," she said softly, her melodious voice carrying hauntingly beautiful musical undertones that human vocal cords could never hope to produce. Marcus remained standing at attention. "Your Majesty, with all due respect, it would be highly inappropriate for me to sit." The gentle command carried quiet authority that made refusal completely impossible. As he carefully settled into the chair across from her imposing figure, Lyra studied him with intense curiosity. "Do you understand why my people traveled such vast distances to come to Earth? For alliance, Your Majesty. Our planets could benefit from cooperation." "That is what we tell your diplomats," Lyra said, one of her 4 hands absently tracing patterns on the table. "The truth is more complex. My empire spans 17 systems, yet we face extinction." Marcus frowned. "Your technology is far beyond ours. How could you face extinction?" "We have perfected our bodies, our minds, our society. But perfection comes at a cost." Her violet eyes met his brown ones. "We no longer dream. We no longer create. We no longer love with the fierce passion that drives evolution. We have become beautiful statues in a universe that demands living, breathing souls. I don't understand how this concerns me, Your Majesty." Lyra rose, moving to the window that overlooked Earth's landscape. "For 3 days I have observed your species through various means. Your people fascinate me. You are chaotic where we are ordered, emotional where we are logical, imperfect where we have achieved perfection. Yet you create wonders that surpass our greatest achievements." She turned back to him. "Yesterday I watched you help an injured child who had fallen near the embassy gates. You abandoned your post, risked disciplinary action, and comforted a stranger's offspring. When questioned, you simply said it was the right thing to do." Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Anyone would have done the same. No, Lyra said firmly. My people would have summoned medical personnel and remained at their assigned positions. They would have acted efficiently, correctly, but without the spontaneous compassion you showed. That child stopped crying the moment you held her hand. Your Majesty, I still don't understand why you've summoned me. Lyra returned to her seat, leaning forward. In Valerian tradition, a queen must choose her successor not through bloodline, but through a bonding ritual that creates the strongest possible genetic and spiritual combination. For 7 centuries, I have postponed this choice because no Valerian male could provide what our people need. Marcus felt the conversation taking an impossible turn. You can't be suggesting... I am proposing marriage, Marcus Chen. She used his full name with startling precision. Your DNA contains genetic markers we lost millennia ago. Creativity, unpredictability, the ability to find hope in hopeless situations. But more than genetics, you possess something my people have forgotten. The capacity to love without condition, to sacrifice without calculation. This is insane, Marcus breathed. I'm nobody special. I work security because I wasn't smart enough for engineering or brave enough for the Space Marines. Lyra's expression softened. You defended a child who meant nothing to you, because suffering moved your heart. You stand guard over people who barely acknowledge your existence because duty matters to you. You see yourself as ordinary, yet you embody everything extraordinary about your species. But the cultural differences, the biological incompatibilities, our medical technology can address biological concerns, Lyra interrupted. As for cultural differences, they are why I need you. My empire requires the chaos of human ingenuity, the unpredictability of human emotion, the stubborn hope that drives your people to attempt the impossible. Marcus stared at her, overwhelmed. Why me specifically? There are millions of humans. Who? Because you didn't hesitate to comfort a crying child, Lyra said simply. Because you remain humble despite possessing qualities that could reshape civilizations. Because when I look at you, I see not perfection, but something far more precious. Potential. She extended one of her hands across the table. I offer you a choice that will affect both our species. Refuse and you return to your post with no consequences. Accept, and together we create something neither human nor Valerian, something new. Marcus looked at her outstretched hand, then at her face. Behind the alien features he saw something achingly familiar. Loneliness, hope, and the desperate desire for connection that transcended species barriers. If I accept, he said slowly, what happens to Earth? Earth becomes the cultural heart of the greatest alliance the galaxy has ever seen, Lyra replied. Your people's creativity will guide us toward a future neither race could achieve alone. Marcus reached across the polished table, his ordinary human hand closing gently around her alien fingers. Then I guess this ordinary guard just made the most extraordinary decision of his entire life. Lyra's brilliant smile transformed her entire beautiful face. And I, a queen who thought she understood the complexities of love, discovered that sometimes the most profound connections form between the most unlikely souls across the vast cosmos. Outside the towering windows, the golden sun set over a peaceful world that had no idea its future had just been decided by a simple guard who chose compassion over protocol.